Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Sébastien Dupuis, I'm a classical pianist and piano teacher in Zurich. This video will be about 5 things I would do different if I had to start learning piano again from zero. So I started actually quite late. I started when I was 13, but I had some piano lessons when I was 5. I quit because my father was not really supporting and because I was a bit stubborn and didn't like difficulties. So if I had to start, I would definitely start early, not too early, like 5, 6, 7, around this, right? Or some kids can start even before, like depends on the kids. Look the video till the end, because at the end, number 6, I will give you a little bonus tip. So first thing I would do if I had to go back and start early is I would do all the exercise, Czerny etudes and Bach pieces. To have a solid foundation, which I didn't do. I did some Hanon, I enjoyed this. I did some Czerny, sometimes I felt a bit pushed and I didn't like it. So there's a way to learn to enjoy this stuff. Like if you are pushed or obliged to do stuff, you don't really enjoy them, right? But they are quite important for just like basic technique that you want to get rid of, so you don't have these problems later. So definitely do Hanon or other exercises. There are list exercises. There are like I would definitely do as much as possible, because the more you do, the more you integrate in your hands, right? To the limit of course, what you want to integrate. But typically, people who has a solid technique mostly has had a solid education as kids. And then I would do some Bach too, because I remember having this example of Lang who had to learn one piece of Bach every day or every week. I forgot. And yeah, this helps for memory, this helps for muscle memory, this helps for also harmony. You start to integrate harmonies and structures and everything. And these are simple stuff and basic stuff I would do. Second thing I would do, it's timing my practice from the beginning and try to start gradually. So I had this, I heard once Ray Chen was doing this calculation, and I did it too actually, where you want to know how many hours you practice in your life. And we say that most time you have to have 10,000 hours if you want to be professional level, which is more or less true with piano or violin. I calculated that I was at 10,000 hours when I was in the middle of my master. So, and there I could play everything. So it's more or less this. So, and the way Ray Chen was calculating is he was doing like 15 minutes a day when he was 6, and then it went to 20 minutes a day when he was 8, and then half an hour a day when he was 10, I don't know, something like this, and get it up like this. And of course, again, this problem of being obliged to do something and being forced, making a problem. I would start with have a minimum as a kid, like a minimum of, I don't know, even 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And having this system that if you skip a day, it's okay, but then you try to do double next day. Or if you skip 2 days, you try to do triples the third day, right? In order to have your time. And this is doing two stuff. It's learning you to be disciplined, and it's also a kind of a reward. Because if you time your practice, when you manage, if you say I have to do 15 minutes a day and you time it, once I'm developing an app for this, by the way, if this app is showing you the statistics at the end of the week, and you see you have your 15 minutes done and even a bit more, this is giving you satisfaction. And in the long term, it will give you satisfaction because your level will go up significantly than if you don't do it. If you don't time your practice, you mostly don't really remember what you did. You're like, yeah, I think I did twice, 2 days this week, and I think I did 20 minutes. And then if you would time it, you would notice it would be other numbers. It would be less, probably, maybe more. So timing your practice is a kind of motivation stuff. And there are actually studies showing that if you time your practice, it helps you making progress because you're more motivated, you have a goal to achieve, and achieving the goals makes you happy, etc. Number 3 would be definitely the important thing, to go to the right schools. And this is something I didn't know until maybe recently, and that my parents didn't know, and that's actually also helping. It's going to the right schools. So what my parents did right, it's they sent me to the best school of the country. That's the first step. What I didn't know, it's after this you have to, or actually you could go even to better schools. You could go to the best school of Europe, like Paris Conservatory or Madrid, because there is a certain teacher there or something. or go to the best school of the world, like the Curtis Institute, try to enter this, right? If you have this kind of goals, it probably it's more challenging, but then your career is getting more easy once you enter these schools. You have better teachers, you have better access to many stuff, you do concerts, you have a better CV. When you do competition, it's also recognized, and etc. So going to better schools is important. It's not, of course, the only thing, right? Because many people go to these schools and nothing happened after, but you have more chance on your side, right? And you could go to the best school of your country first, and then try to go in a second time to a higher best school like Paris Conservatory or the New York School or something like this. It definitely helps, and yeah, it's also putting you in touch with people who has a higher level. So the competition is a bit higher. It motivates you also a bit more. Number 4 is also something I didn't do or much too late, and it was also linked to my starting too late, of course, then it's more difficult. It's doing competitions. I'm not a huge fan of competitions, but what's sure is competitions help you building confidence if you have good results, which is a tricky one, because if you are always never getting anywhere with competitions, you get demotivated and you stop, and then it's the opposite, right? So, but preparing competition it's a goal, right? And why you should start it early, I think you should start it early and as a game, and knowing your life don't depend on it, but it's just a challenge, right? And having challenge is always helping. And then if you overcome the challenge, this is building confidence, which is really important. If you win competitions since you are 5, when you're 20, you are like bulletproof for any competitions, because it's just one more and you know you can do it, right? So then your chances of winning a big competition are higher, and winning a big competition is helping for a career also. So I would start as soon as possible, or even maybe small competitions between students, and getting used to this pressure. That's another stuff. Competition makes you being used to pressure. Because pressure on concerts or playing for people or for a jury is something you have to get used to it. If you are not, you are super stressed, you have blackouts, you cannot play anymore. And this is also a problem, right? It's a problem you can solve by getting used to this. I would say do concerts early, but it's difficult to do concerts. It's more easy to do competitions because they are there, you just need to subscribe, you go and you play, right? It helps also you prepare programs, know what you're good at, having your programs tested, and having feedback. Mostly you have feedbacks also. Hearing other people playing on the same level also motivates you. You think, oh, this guy played so well, I want to play like him. That's something that happens in competitions too. You meet other musicians, very important. You make connections, parents meet other parents, etc. Like, so it's a world you need to enter, and a way to enter this competition. I don't think it's an obligation, because of course there was always pianists like Volodos who did no competitions and has an incredible career, but that's more exceptions. Number 5, and the last one before the bonus, would be having good teachers from the beginning. So people mostly underestimate having a good teacher in the beginning, because they think, I'm a beginner, even for adults actually. They think, I'm a beginner, I don't need someone who is really skilled, I can have anyone bring me the basics, that's enough. Well, that's not true, because a good teacher will be more qualified to put you on the right track from the beginning, and this will help you make less mistakes that you have to correct later, right? And if I had examples of kids coming to me and they could play piano but could not read any notes. So they just learn by ear, which is terrible, because then they have to learn reading notes and then they just stop because they are unmotivated and they think, why should I start everything from zero, right? And it doesn't matter how you try it. I tried different methods. They mostly quit. So that's one example of not having the right teacher in the beginning. If you have the right teacher from the beginning, someone who knows how to teach you stuff, someone who knows the stuff I'm just saying, you build up the right stuff from the beginning, and piano is already difficult enough. If you make mistakes from the beginning that you don't correct, it's getting even worse. So do the right stuff from the beginning. That's helping. It will be more enjoyable later, and the path is better. Now, it's difficult to find a good teacher if you're not qualified yourself. So ask professionals or ask people who know about music, and mostly good teachers have a reputation or are in good schools or stuff like this, right? And then test it out. If a teacher is not good, if you see someone is not qualified, change teacher. Also, a teacher is a person that inspires you. That's very important too. I had different teachers, and some teachers I really thought that they are stupid, and other teachers I was really admiring, and that's important. Admiring your teacher is important because it will pull you up your level. It will push you to do the same as he's doing. It will give you motivation every lesson. You know, if you see someone, like I remember, one of the things I enjoyed the most is seeing my teachers play. Because when I saw them play, it gave me a lot of pleasure. I was hearing amazing works in front of me right there, right? You know, like excerpts just for me. So I found this fascinating. You learn a lot by watching. And again, I was thinking, I want to be like this teacher one day. I want to be like him. I want to have this touch like him on the piano, this soft sound and everything. I remember actually a solfège teacher in music school who was supposed actually just to learn how to read notes and rhythm. He was sometimes playing Chopin ballade, and I loved this moment. This is like some of the best moments in my music education is hearing this teacher playing some Liszt etudes, Chopin ballades, and this actually made my future. Like it's probably a reason why I love the Liszt etudes so much and the Chopin ballades. It's also because I listened to recordings early to this. But yeah, teachers that motivates you and are an example for you are really important. So now we come to the bonus. That's a little plus, I would say. So the list is only 5 of, could be a longer list of stuff you should do early, of course. But I think it's the main ones. One I would like to say too is learn all the other disciplines if possible. So that's one stuff I also lacked a bit in the beginning. I was learning only piano. And then later I was pushed to learn reading notes and stuff. I mean, I could read notes in the beginning, but I was not so good at it. And I became good at it later when I was forced to. And then stuff like harmony, music history, or chamber music, or etc., like sight reading, transposing, or like reading chorals is also part of harmony, reading chorals. Try to compose, maybe some conducting I did a bit. So all this stuff around music, going to concerts, listening to recordings, all this stuff around will help your piano level or your instrument level. So try to do as much as possible stuff around, because this is building your musician baggage, right? There are a lot of musicians who are really good pianists or really good violinists or etc., but they lack a side and they don't know anything about music history, or they didn't do any chamber music, or they don't know how to conduct, for example. They don't know what... So you don't need to become a conductor, but knowing how to conduct is interesting. It's something you have to practice. You learn, you try to conduct, and then you realize what the problems are when you're a conductor, right? And then you learn about an orchestra, and then you know how an orchestra is built, and then you know how a composer would compose for an orchestra, etc. And then you get into music, which is important. So yeah, I hope these 6 little tips helped you. If you want to, it's never too late to do it, by the way. You don't have to start from the beginning to do all this stuff. You can start this stuff anytime, because anytime you start is good. Anytime you push it further is too late, right? And as a parent, maybe this inspires you helping your child. Again, there's a difficult balance to find between pushing and motivating. It's tricky. You can only try your best. See you. Bye-bye.